Let me tell you a short story. A man wakes up every morning feeling tired. Head heavy, body stiff, mind foggy. He eats healthy. He exercises. He takes supplements. Yet he keeps falling sick. One day, during a visit to a quiet monastery, he notices something strange. The monks drink water slowly, silently, almost respectfully. No gulping, no rushing, no distraction. Curious, he asks an old monk, "Why do you drink water like that?" The monk smiles and says, "Because water is not just to quench thirst. It is to teach the body how to live." Most people drink water every day, yet almost no one knows the correct way to drink it. And because of that, they remain tired. They remain inflamed. They remain sick. In this video, I'll show you the correct way to drink water that most people don't know, inspired by ancient Buddhist wisdom, and why this one habit can silently transform your health. But first, if you want wisdom that strengthens your body, sharpens your mind, and protects your soul, like this video, subscribe to this channel, because what you are about to hear is not common knowledge. Now let's begin. 1. Water is medicine, not a beverage. Most people don't drink water. They consume it the way they consume everything else in life. In a hurry, without awareness, without respect. They wake up late, grab their phone, scroll, rush to the kitchen, drink water like it's a task to finish. 3 gulps, no pause, no presence. And then they wonder why their body feels heavy, why digestion feels weak, why energy disappears by afternoon. In Buddhism, this is not surprising, because Buddhism teaches one uncomfortable truth. What you do without awareness does not nourish you. Water is not just liquid. It is information. It is communication with the body. When you drink water while distracted, your body doesn't welcome it. It simply passes it through. Monks understand this deeply. That is why in monasteries, water is treated like medicine, not like a beverage. The man from our story noticed this on his second day at the monastery. He woke up early, restless as usual, carrying the same heaviness in his stomach, the same dull ache behind his eyes. He reached for water instinctively, fast, automatic. But then he stopped. Every monk around him was still. No talking, no rushing, no phones. Each one lifted the cup slowly, as if holding something precious, as if drinking was an act, not a reflex. Confused, he copied them. For the first time in years, he paused before drinking. 2 seconds. That's all. But those 2 seconds felt strange, almost uncomfortable, because silence exposes you. In those 2 seconds, he felt his breath, felt the tightness in his chest, felt how rushed his life had become. He drank slowly, and something subtle happened. Not dramatic, not magical, but real. His stomach didn't protest. There was no heaviness, no bloating, just ease. Later that day, an old monk said something that stayed with him. The body listens only when the mind is present. This is why intention matters. When you pause before drinking water, you send a signal to your nervous system. I am here. I am safe. That single signal shifts your body out of stress mode. Digestion activates. Organs respond. Absorption improves. This is not belief. This is biology, understood by monks long before science named it. Water taken consciously becomes medicine. It hydrates deeper. It heals quietly. It restores balance. But water taken unconsciously, it becomes waste. It passes through without serving you. The man practiced this daily. Morning after morning, he paused. No phone, no noise, just breath and water. Within days, his bloating softened. The pressure in his head eased. His body stopped fighting him. Not because the water changed, because his awareness did. Buddhism teaches that sickness does not always come from what we eat or drink. It comes from how we live. Rushed, disconnected, unaware. When you slow down for water, even for 2 seconds, you are training your body to trust life again. And when the body trusts, it heals. This is why monks rarely rush. This is why they rarely fall sick. Because to them, water is not something you finish. It is something you receive. And that single shift, from consumption to presence, is where healing begins. 2. Never drink water standing. This is one of the most ignored truths in modern life. Not because it's complicated, but because it demands something most people have lost: stillness. We drink water while standing in kitchens, offices, gyms, streets. One hand on the bottle, the other holding stress. Standing has become the posture of urgency. And urgency, in Buddhism, is a silent form of violence against the body. In monasteries, monks never drink water standing. Not once. Not in a hurry. Not even on busy days. Because they understand something we've forgotten. The position of the body determines the behavior of the mind and the response of the organs. The man from our story learned this the hard way. On his third morning, he woke earlier than usual. The air was cold. His thoughts were restless. Out of habit, he stood near the doorway and lifted the cup. Before he could drink, the old monk gently placed a hand on his wrist. Not forceful, not angry, just firm. "Sit," the monk said. The man felt embarrassed, like a child being corrected. He sat. The monk waited. Silence stretched. Then he spoke. "Standing is the posture of escape. Sitting is the posture of acceptance. When you stand, your body is tense, even if you don't feel it. Muscles are engaged. Joints are locked. The nervous system stays alert. In that state, water does not settle. It rushes. Modern science now confirms what monks observed centuries ago. When you drink water standing, gravity forces rapid flow. Kidneys get strained. Digestion is shocked. Nutrient absorption weakens. Over time, this creates imbalance. Joint pain, digestive issues, internal dryness despite enough water. The monk explained it simply. Water needs a resting place. A restless body gives it none. Sitting changes everything. When you sit, the spine aligns. The abdomen softens. The breath deepens. Stillness signals safety. In safety, the body opens. That is when water becomes nourishing. The man noticed the difference immediately. Sitting with a straight spine felt unnatural at first. His body resisted stillness. Because stillness reveals what movement hides. Tension in the lower back. Tightness in the chest. Fatigue he'd been running from. As he drank, slowly, seated, something unexpected happened. The water felt heavier. Not in weight, but in presence. It didn't rush. It didn't shock. It settled. Later that day, the monk said something that cut deep. If you cannot sit for water, you cannot sit with life. That sentence stayed with him. He realized how often he was standing in his life. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, always ready to move. Always preparing for the next thing. Never fully arriving. Standing while drinking water was not the problem. It was a symptom. A life lived without pause. From that day on, he sat every time. At home, at work, even when others stared. And slowly, his joints felt lighter. His digestion calmer. His body less angry with him. Because sitting to drink water was teaching him something deeper. You don't heal by adding more. You heal by slowing down. Stillness is not laziness. It is alignment. And alignment is health. This is why monks sit. This is why they last. This is why their bodies cooperate with them instead of breaking down. Water flows correctly only when you stop running from yourself. And sometimes, healing begins with something as simple as sitting down. 3. Sip. Don't attack the water. Most people don't drink water. They attack it. The bottle is lifted. The throat opens. Water is forced down like a race to be won. No breath. No pause. No awareness. And then people wonder why their stomach feels heavy. Why digestion struggles. Why their body feels cold inside, even in warm weather. In Buddhism, haste is not efficiency. Haste is ignorance in motion. The man from our story realized this on his fourth morning. He sat, as he was taught. He paused. He lifted the cup. And then, out of habit, he gulped. Immediately, the monk shook his head. Not disappointed. Almost sad. "You are fighting the water," he said. That sentence struck the man deeply. Because it wasn't just about water. It was about how he lived. Fast. Forceful. Always pushing. The monk continued. What you rush through cannot nourish you. When you drink water too fast, your body does not have time to respond. The digestive fire, what ancient traditions call agni, gets diluted. Enzymes don't activate properly. The stomach becomes lazy. Internal warmth drops. This creates bloating, weak digestion, constant cravings, feeling thirsty even after drinking. Modern biology confirms this, but monks felt it long before it was measured. The monk demonstrated how to drink. He took a small sip, held it gently, let it rest on the tongue. Then he swallowed, slowly. It looked simple, but there was a depth to it, almost like meditation. He explained, saliva is the body's first medicine. Saliva contains enzymes. It signals the stomach. It prepares the entire digestive system. When water mixes with saliva, it arrives welcomed. When water is rushed past the mouth, the body is caught unprepared. The man tried again. Small sip. Hold. Breathe. At first, it felt frustrating. His mind wanted speed, completion, results. But as he slowed, something shifted. The act of drinking became calming. He noticed the temperature, the texture, the sensation moving down. For the first time in years, his body wasn't bracing itself. That afternoon, something unexpected happened. He wasn't as hungry. He didn't crave snacks. His stomach felt satisfied, with less water. That confused him. He realized he had been over-drinking to compensate for poor absorption. The monk smiled when he told him, "You were thirsty not for water," he said. "You were thirsty for presence." Over the next days, digestion improved. The heaviness after meals faded. Cravings lost their grip, not because he drank more, but because he drank correctly. Buddhism teaches, speed belongs to the ego. Slowness belongs to wisdom. Sipping water slowly trains the body to receive, trains the mind to settle, trains life itself to soften. Every sip became a reminder. You don't need to rush to be okay. Water teaches this quietly, if you listen, because when you stop attacking water, you stop attacking yourself. And that is where healing truly begins. 4. Timing matters more than quantity. Most people believe health is a numbers game. How many liters? How many glasses? How much is enough? They measure water like fuel. Pour it in. Hope the machine works better. But Buddhism asks a different question, a far more uncomfortable one. When are you drinking? Because the body does not obey numbers. It obeys rhythm. Wrong rhythm creates sickness, even from the right things. The man from our story learned this slowly. Back home, before the monastery, he drank water constantly. During meals. Immediately after meals. Late at night. Yet his acidity never left. His stomach burned. His sleep was shallow. At the monastery, he noticed something strange. No monk carried a bottle. No one sipped endlessly. Water appeared at specific moments and disappeared just as quietly. When he asked why, the monk said, "Water must arrive when the body is ready to receive it." Morning came first, before food, before speech, before thought fully formed. The monks drank warm water. Not hot, not cold, warm. The monk explained, morning water is not for thirst. It is to wake the organs. Warm water gently activates digestion, flushes stagnation, signals the body that a new cycle has begun. The man tried it. The first morning felt ordinary. The third morning felt lighter. By the seventh, his bowels moved easily. His chest felt open. His day started without heaviness. Then came meals. This shocked him the most. Before meals, only small sips. Just enough to prepare the stomach. Never enough to flood it. During meals, minimal water. Why? Because digestion is fire. Ancient traditions call it Agni. Fire cannot burn properly if drowned. When you drink too much during meals, enzymes weaken. Food ferments. Acidity rises. The monk said quietly, "You don't need more water. You need stronger digestion." But the hardest rule came after meals. No water. Not immediately. Not even when tempted. "Wait," the monk said. "Let the fire work." 30 minutes. 45. The man struggled. Old habit screamed. The urge was strong. But he obeyed. And something strange happened. The burning sensation he expected never came. Instead, food settled. The stomach felt calm. There was no heaviness pulling him down. Days passed. Then weeks. His acidity vanished. Not reduced. Gone. Sleep deepened. Not forced. Natural. And then the biggest surprise. He stopped getting sick. Small colds passed quickly. Fatigue lifted faster. His body felt resilient. The monk finally said the words that changed everything. Sickness is often not what you consume. It is when you consume it. Then came the warning. The one spoken almost like a confession. Cold water after food is silent poison. It doesn't hurt immediately. It harms slowly. Cold water shocks digestion, solidifies fats, creates internal imbalance. It feels refreshing, but weakens the body over time. The man thought of every restaurant meal, every iced drink, every habit he never questioned. And he understood. He wasn't unlucky. He was mistimed. Buddhism teaches that health is alignment. With time, with rhythm, with nature. Water follows the same law. Drink at the wrong time, and even purity becomes poison. Drink at the right time, and even simplicity becomes medicine. This is why monks don't chase quantity. They honor timing. Because the body is not a container to be filled. It is a flame to be respected. And once you understand that, your body stops fighting you. It starts protecting you. 5. Cold water is a modern disease. Cold water feels innocent, refreshing, comforting, almost luxurious. Ice clinks in the glass. Cold rushes down the throat. For a moment, relief. But Buddhism teaches a truth most people never want to hear. What feels good immediately is often what harms you slowly. In monasteries, monks never drink ice-cold water. Not in summer. Not after work. Not even after long walks. The man from our story noticed this on a hot afternoon. Sweat on his forehead. Body exhausted. Throat dry. Instinct screamed for cold water. That craving felt powerful, almost urgent. But when he reached for the cup, the monk gently shook his head. "No cold," he said. The man felt confused. "How can something so natural be wrong?" he asked. The monk replied quietly. "Cold does not refresh the body. It shocks it. Cold water contracts blood vessels. It tightens muscles. It tells the nervous system, danger." In that moment, digestion slows. Circulation weakens. Internal balance is disturbed. The monk explained, "In Buddhism, health is balance. Extreme cold creates disorder inside. The body is warm by design. Organs function in warmth. Digestion is fire. Cold water extinguishes that fire. Not all at once, but little by little." The man thought back to his life. Ice water after meals. Cold drinks when tired. Chilled bottles during stress. He had been pouring cold into a system already exhausted. That night, the monk said something that echoed deeply. Modern sickness is often not from disease, but from temperature. Cold water doesn't kill immediately. It weakens silently. Joints stiffen. Sinuses clog. Energy drops. Immunity thins. And people wonder why they always feel cold inside. The monk showed him the correct way. Room temperature water, or slightly warm, especially when tired, when stressed, when sick. Warm water doesn't shock. It soothes. It opens blood vessels, supports digestion, signals safety. The man resisted at first. Warm water felt strange, unexciting, almost disappointing. But he obeyed. Days passed. Then something subtle happened. His joints didn't ache as much in the mornings. His knees felt lighter. His fingers moved more freely. Weeks passed. Sinus pressure eased. Breathing became clearer. Mornings felt warmer. Inside, the constant internal chill he'd accepted as normal began to disappear. And then he realized something frightening. He had been living cold on the inside for years. Cold water didn't just affect his body. It mirrored his life. Always rushing. Always stressed. Always cooling down emotions instead of warming them. The monk said one final sentence that stayed with him. Warmth is healing. Cold is control. Cold water feels refreshing because it numbs. Warm water heals because it restores. One silences pain. The other resolves it. Buddhism doesn't chase comfort. It chases balance. And balance is gentle, warm, alive. When the man stopped drinking cold water, his body stopped fighting itself. Because sometimes, healing isn't about adding medicine. It's about removing what never belonged there in the first place. And cold water was one of them. 6. Your mind affects how water heals you. This is the secret most people will never hear. Not because it's hidden, but because it requires silence. Buddhism teaches something radical. The mind enters before the substance. Whatever state your mind is in, that is what reaches your body first. Not the water, not the food, the mind. Most people drink water while doing everything except drinking water. Scrolling, arguing, thinking, rushing. Their hands lift the glass, but their mind is somewhere else. And the body knows. The man from our story realized this one morning when something felt off. He had done everything right. He sat. He paused. He sipped slowly, but his mind was racing. Deadlines, memories, old anger resurfacing. The water didn't feel the same. It felt hollow. The monk noticed immediately. You are drinking with noise inside, he said. The man didn't understand. The monk continued. If the mind is tense, the body tightens, and tight spaces cannot receive healing. In Buddhism, the mind is not separate from the body. Anger contracts, fear hardens, distraction scatters. When you drink water in those states, your body receives tension, not hydration. The monk showed him how monks drink. No phones, no talking, no hurry, sometimes with gratitude, sometimes with nothing at all, just awareness. The monk said quietly, silence is the missing nutrient. The next morning, the man tried again. He woke early, left his phone in another room, sat in silence. At first, it was unbearable. Thoughts screamed. The urge to check notifications burned. But he stayed. He lifted the cup. No scrolling, no thinking, no story, just water. Something unexpected happened. His breath slowed. His shoulders dropped. His jaw softened. It felt like his body exhaled for the first time in years. He drank, slowly, and in that moment, the water felt different. He couldn't explain it. It felt like it stayed, not rushed, not rejected. Later that day, he said something that shocked even him. I felt like my body finally listened to me. That sentence carried weight, because for years, his body had been screaming. Through fatigue, through sickness, through pain, and he had been too distracted to hear it. Buddhism teaches that awareness is medicine. When you drink water with awareness, you're telling your body, I am here with you. That message changes everything. Nervous system calms. Digestion opens. Healing accelerates. Not magically, but naturally. The monk explained it in one line. Water cannot calm you if you refuse to be calm. This is why monks drink in silence. Not to be spiritual, but to be receptive. Because presence allows nourishment. Distraction blocks it. The man made it a ritual. Every morning. Same place. Same silence. No matter how busy life became, those minutes were protected. And slowly, his anxiety softened. His body felt safer. His health stabilized. Not because water changed. Because he did. Buddhism doesn't say healing comes from substances. It says healing comes from how you meet them. Water only reflects your state. If you are rushed, it rushes through. If you are tense, it tightens you. If you are present, it heals you. And maybe the deepest truth of all is this. Your body has always been listening. It was waiting for you to stop talking long enough to hear it back. 7. Water cannot fix a rushed life. Here is the final truth. The one most people don't want to hear. You can drink water the right way. You can sit. You can sip. You can choose warmth. You can follow every rule perfectly. And still, if your life is rushed, your body will suffer. Because water is not stronger than chaos. Buddhism teaches something brutally honest. Health is not created in the body. It is revealed by the pace of the mind. A rushed life creates a rushed nervous system. A rushed nervous system creates weak digestion. Weak digestion creates sickness. No amount of water can override that. The man from our story realized this near the end of his stay. His body felt better, clearer, lighter. But one evening, after receiving news from home, his mind spiraled. Deadlines, pressure, fear of returning to his old life. That night, he drank water correctly, but it didn't feel the same. The calm was gone. The monk noticed. You are already running, he said, even while sitting still. That sentence broke something inside him. He realized the truth. He had slowed down his habits, but not his life. Buddhism doesn't separate health from living. If you rush conversations, your breath becomes shallow. If you rush meals, your digestion weakens. If you rush rest, your immunity collapses. The body copies the mind. Always. The monk walked with him slowly that evening. No teaching, no correction, just silence. Finally, the monk spoke. Water works best in a calm system. That was it. Not dramatic, not mystical, but devastatingly accurate. You cannot pour peace into a body that lives in panic. You cannot hydrate a system that never rests. The monk's final words came the next morning. They stood near the doorway where the man had once tried to drink water standing. The monk said, "We don't get sick because of water. We get sick because we forgot how to slow down." That sentence followed the man home. Into traffic, into work, into daily life. And now, it reaches you. Because maybe your body isn't broken. Maybe it's exhausted from keeping up with you. Maybe your digestion isn't weak. Maybe your life is too loud. Water was never meant to fix your chaos. It was meant to reflect it, slow life down. And water heals you naturally. Rush life, and even the purest things cannot save you. This is the final teaching, not about water, about pace. And the moment you slow down, not just while drinking, but while living, your body will finally stop fighting you. Because healing was never missing. Stillness was. As we conclude, you drink water every day. But now you know, how you drink matters more than how much you drink. Slow down. Sit. Sip. Be aware. This one habit, done correctly, can silently rebuild your health. If this video opened your eyes, like it, share it, subscribe. Because wisdom like this isn't taught in schools. It's lived in silence. And now, it's yours.